This video will demonstrate the 7 events that comprise the Fire Department of the City of New York EMS Trainee and EMT Physical Ability Test. Each test event evaluates the abilities necessary to successfully complete the tasks of an EMT. Specifically, the PAT events simulate the following job tasks: removing equipment needed to resolve a medical assistance call and pushing a stretcher loaded with equipment needed for the call. Carrying equipment while climbing and descending stairs to reach an emergency scene and/or patient. Dragging an unconscious or injured patient when the patient is in immediate danger. Providing chest compressions to an adult patient in cardiac arrest. Rolling a supine patient onto his or her side to slide a spine board under the patient and squatting to lift a patient attached to a spine board. Moving a patient secured to a stair chair up and down flights of stairs. Pushing a stretcher with a secured patient and loading the stretcher with a secured patient into an ambulance. The PAT requires you to progress from one event to next in a continuous manner, like how the sequence of simulated activities is performed on the job. Therefore, you must pace yourself during the PAT so that you do not become exhausted before the test is completed. To pass the PAT, you must complete all 7 events comprising the test within 9 minutes and 50 seconds. Your test attempt and time will start when a monitor issues the Ready Go command at the designated start line for the first event.
Ready, go.
When transitioning from one event to the next, monitors will issue the Ready Go command, even though time will continue to run, to ensure that all pre-event activities are completed. While you perform the PAT, monitors will provide performance reminders of what to do during each event, but the detailed instructions provided in this video will not be repeated. You will not be permitted to run at any time during the PAT. Failure to follow the instructions provided in this video will result in monitors providing you with a warning and asking you to repeat an action. Time will continue to run while you are repeating an action. A second violation of the same procedure during the same event will result in your disqualification. Furthermore, there are certain violations which will result in automatic disqualification. For each event, this video will identify violations which will result in a warning and those which will result in automatic disqualification. You may use personal safety equipment, for example, a knee brace, an ankle brace, or elastic sports tape, as you perform the PAT, but such equipment will not be provided. No extra time will be provided if your personal safety equipment malfunctions or interferes with your performance. If you become ill or experience an injury during the PAT and are unable to continue, your test attempt will be terminated, and the outcome of your attempt will be a failure. Before participating in the PAT, you will review and sign a medical screen survey. You will not be disqualified based on your answers to the survey. You should, however, use the survey to determine whether you may be at risk for adverse health events during physical activity. Lastly, you may ask the administrators any questions you have regarding the PAT completion. You should ask your questions before your test attempt starts. Once your test attempt starts, the timer will not be stopped until you have completed the course. Good luck! Event number 1, equipment removal and stretcher push. The equipment removal and stretcher push event simulates removing equipment needed to resolve a medical assistance call and pushing a stretcher loaded with equipment needed for the call. You will position yourself behind the start line and await the Ready Go command.
Ready, go.
On go, you will remove 3 pieces of equipment from the equipment rack and transfer the equipment onto the stretcher. The equipment will be numbered 1 through 3, and you will place the equipment on the stretcher so that the number on the equipment label matches the number on the stretcher label. You will then be required to walk to the front of the blue cabinet with a curl bar resting on the top. You will lift the curl bar from the cabinet with palms up and carry the curl bar with your arms bent at your elbows a minimum of 90 degrees while walking backwards until you clear the line marked on the floor. You will then walk forward while still carrying the curl bar and place the curl bar back on top of the blue cabinet. Lastly, you will return to the stretcher containing the equipment you previously loaded and push the stretcher by holding the side rail in a straight line until you cross the line marked on the floor. One of your hands must remain on the stretcher's side rail, but your other hand may be positioned at the head or the foot of the stretcher. When the entire stretcher crosses the line on the floor, you will turn around and push the stretcher back to the starting position. You must push the stretcher in a controlled manner so that none of the equipment falls off the stretcher. You may step outside of the event boundary lines while pushing the stretcher, but you must ensure that the stretcher remains within the event boundary lines. After you push the stretcher across the designated line, I will direct you to the next event. Automatic disqualifiers. Candidate drops the curl bar. Candidate is unable to return the curl bar to the top of the blue cabinet. Candidate repeats a violation after already receiving a warning. For example, candidate runs during the event, pushes the stretcher outside event boundary lines, removes hand from the stretcher's side rail, lowers the curl bar to below 90 degrees, lifts the curl bar above shoulders. Event number 2, carrying equipment while climbing stairs. The carrying equipment while climbing stairs event simulates carrying equipment while climbing and descending stairs to reach an emergency scene and/or patient. We will assist you with donning a MedTech bag, which will be worn as a backpack during this event. After the MedTech bag is properly fitted, I will issue the Ready Go command. On go, you will pick up the folded stair chair and start climbing the stairs. You may carry the folded stair chair in one or both hands and may position the chair in either a high or low hold, but below shoulder height. You should continue climbing the stairs until you reach a monitor, at which point you will be instructed to turn around and descend the stairs until you reach a monitor at the bottom of the stairwell. You will be required to go up and down the stairs for a total of 5 trips. We will call out the trip number to help you keep track. When climbing or descending stairs, you may not skip any steps. You may grasp the railing if you have a free hand. You must carry the stair chair. You cannot drag it. If you use one hand to carry the stair chair, you may switch the hand with which you are carrying the stair chair, but you may only switch hands on one of the stairwell's landings. You must touch the top and bottom floor landings with both feet before starting the next trip. Once you complete the final trip, I will direct you to the next event. Automatic disqualifiers. Candidate drops the stair chair. Candidate repeats a violation after already receiving a warning. For example, candidate runs during the event, skips a step, switches the hand with which he or she is carrying the stair chair while on a step, starts the next trip before touching the landing with both feet, lifts the stair chair above shoulders. Event number 3, patient removal. The patient removal event simulates dragging an unconscious or injured patient when the patient is in immediate danger. When you are positioned behind the start line, I will issue the Ready Go command.
Ready. Go.
On go, grab the upper body of the mannequin or the straps attached to the mannequin and drag the mannequin to the obstacle. You may not drag the mannequin by a single limb, such as an arm or leg. During the drag, part of the mannequin must always be touching the ground. You may not pick up and carry the mannequin. After crossing the start line, you may drag the mannequin to either side, right or left, of the obstacle. When you reach the obstacle, you will make a 180-degree turn around the obstacle and drag the mannequin back to the start line. You must go around the obstacle. You may not hit the obstacle with the mannequin. When you and the mannequin have completely crossed the designated line, I will direct you to the next event. Automatic disqualifiers. Candidate drops the mannequin. Note that this does not include a candidate lowering the mannequin in a controlled manner to reposition his or her grip. Candidate repeats a violation after already receiving a warning. For example, candidate runs during the event, drags the mannequin into the obstacle, drags the mannequin by a single limb, picks up the entire mannequin off the ground. Event number 4, patient CPR compression. The patient CPR compression event simulates providing chest compressions to an adult patient in cardiac arrest. When you are kneeling on both knees on the blue mat beside the mannequin, I will issue the ready, go command.
Okay, ready? Go.
On go, you will perform chest compressions by pushing your hands down hard in the middle of the mannequin's chest. You should place the heel of one hand in the center of the mannequin's chest, marked by tape, with your other hand on top. Keep your shoulders directly over your hands and lock your elbows to keep your arms straight. Use your body weight to push down on the mannequin's chest. You may not just tap on the mannequin's chest, you must push down on the mannequin's chest. You will be required to perform a minimum of 200 compressions across the 2 minutes. A metronome will produce an audible click, which you can use to keep pace. I will call out the time when there is 1 minute remaining in the event.
1 minute left.
You are required to perform compressions for the full 2 minutes. I will call time at the 2-minute mark,
Stop.
and if you have performed at least 200 compressions, I will direct you to the next event. Automatic disqualifiers. Candidate performs less than 200 compressions across the 2 minutes. Candidate causes damage to the mannequin that cannot be attributed to equipment failure. Candidate repeats a violation after already receiving a warning. For example, one or both knees leave the ground while performing compressions. Candidate taps the mannequin's chest rather than pressing down. Candidate stops performing compressions before the 2-minute period. Event number 5, patient log roll and pickup. The patient log roll and pickup event simulates rolling a supine patient onto his or her side to slide a spine board under the patient and squatting to lift a patient attached to a spine board. When you are kneeling on the blue mat at the side of the mannequin, I will issue the ready, go command.
Ready, go.
On go, place your hands where the mannequin has been marked with tape and use both hands to roll the mannequin onto its side toward you. Once the mannequin is on its side, you will hold the mannequin in the up position for a 3-second count. I will provide a countdown. On the count of 3, you will lower the mannequin to the ground in a controlled manner. You will then walk to the next portion of the event and step inside the hex bar with feet hip-width apart and arms at your sides. You will be required to perform a total of 3 deadlift squats. A single repetition consists of raising the hex bar off the floor, holding the hex bar for a 3-second count while in the up position, and then lowering the hex bar until the weight plates contact the floor. We will call out the repetition number to help you keep track. When the weight plates contact the floor on the 3rd repetition, I will direct you to the next event. Automatic disqualifiers. Candidate is unable to roll the mannequin to the up position. Candidate drops the mannequin instead of lowering it in a controlled manner. Candidate is unable to perform 3 deadlift squats. Candidate drops the hex bar while performing repetitions. Candidate repeats a violation after already receiving a warning. For example, candidate runs during the event. Fails to touch the floor with the hex bar weight plates when lowering the bar. Lowers the mannequin or hex bar before the end of the 3-second count. Event number 6, patient carry while secured to stair chair. The patient carry while secured to stair chair event simulates moving a patient secured to a stair chair up and down flights of stairs. We will first assist you with donning a MedTech bag, which you will wear as a backpack during this event. After the MedTech bag is properly fitted, I will issue the ready, go command.
Ready, go.
On go, you will pick up the sandbag by the handles with both hands and hold the bag in front of you while you climb and descend the stairs. You may position the sandbag in either a low or high hold, but below shoulder height. You should continue descending the stairs until you reach the monitor at the bottom of the stairs, at which point you will be instructed to turn around and climb the stairs until you reach a monitor at the original starting position. You will be required to repeat this process until you complete 3 trips. We will call out the trip number to help you keep track. When climbing or descending stairs, you may not skip any steps. You may lean against the wall to regain your balance as needed. You must carry the sandbag in front of you. You may lower the sandbag in a controlled manner to the ground to re-grip the sandbag, but only on the landings at the bottom or top of the stairwell. For safety precautions, you may discard the sandbag at any point, but this will result in your disqualification for this test attempt. You must touch the top and bottom floor landings with both feet before starting the next trip. When you complete the last trip, I will direct you to the next event. Automatic disqualifiers. Candidate drops the sandbag. Note that this does not include a candidate lowering the sandbag in a controlled manner on the top and bottom stairwell landings to reposition his or her grip. Candidate repeats a violation after already receiving a warning. For example, candidate runs during the event, skips a step, lowers and regrips the sandbag while on a step, starts the next trip before touching the landing with both feet, lifts the sandbag above shoulders. Event number 7, patient load. The patient load event simulates pushing a stretcher with a secured patient and loading a stretcher with a secured patient into an ambulance. When you are positioned behind the start line, I will issue the Ready, Go command.
Ready, go.
On go, you will push the stretcher loaded with a mannequin by holding the side rail until you cross the line marked on the floor. One of your hands must remain on the stretcher's side rail, but the other hand may be positioned at the head or the foot of the stretcher. You will then walk to the next portion of the event and pick up the end of the long board resting on the floor and lift the long board until it is parallel to the top of the blue cabinet. While in the up position, you will be required to hold the long board for a 3-second count. I will provide a countdown. On the count of 3, you will walk the long board forward, pushing it on top of the blue cabinet until the foot of the long board contacts the cabinet stopper. When the long board contacts the cabinet stopper, I will call out time for the test. Automatic disqualifiers. Candidate drops or is unable to lift the long board with secured mannequin. Candidate repeats a violation after already receiving a warning. For example, candidate runs during the event, pushes the stretcher outside event boundary lines, removes hand from the stretcher's side rail, lifts the longboard above shoulders, pushes the longboard onto the cabinet before the 3-second count. This concludes the candidate preview video of the FDNY EMS Trainee and EMT Physical Ability Test, PAT. Please keep in mind that maintaining good fitness is not only important for passing the PAT, but, if you are successful, will continue to be important to meet the physical demands of the academy training and throughout your career with the FDNY Bureau of EMS. Before you begin the PAT, ask administrators any questions you may have about performing the PAT events. Good luck on the PAT and in the examination process.